Paul, Abby, it is such an honor to speak to you guys today. I'm really excited because your project is a really interesting one. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value from, and I'm really looking forward to having you. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to take us back to June 29th, where you wrote in your Discord, "Hi, everyone. We've just hit 500 followers on Twitter and 330 on Discord. This has practically happened within 48 hours and 100% organically. So thank you to every single one of you. We're planning another giveaway shortly, so stay tuned for that. And we have a big giveaway ahead at 1,000 followers. Now you guys are sitting at almost 5,000 followers on Twitter, 2,500 on Discord, and that was less than a month ago. So take me through how it feels when I read those words and what the progress has been like in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I completely forgot about that announcement. Like, wow, looking now, 300 followers and a few hundred people in the Discord, it's like nothing.
Well, that's the thing. At the time, it was everything, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's just a reminder of how far we've come and how grateful we are. We're so grateful for what's happening, but we don't want to get too comfortable with this. We don't want to kind of take any of this for granted. It's a huge shock still. It's sinking in a little bit more every day, but it just felt like, for me, I was sort of just ripped out of my body, and I don't know, it was just completely life-changing for us. So we were definitely celebrating those numbers, and we're celebrating the numbers that we have now because they're just phenomenal. So it's a nice little flashback, actually.
Yeah, so I want to ask about the origination of all this. What's the origin story between you guys, and first of all, how did you get into NFTs to begin with?
I think it's my fault. Abby is here. I've always been involved in, I guess, crypto tech since 2016. I've always had personal investments in crypto. Only really got involved in NFT space at the beginning of this year, like January this year. So quite a relatively short period compared to others. If you look at the CryptoPunks and other projects, they've been around since 2016, 2017. I just love the fusion of the technology of the blockchain and the smart contracts and everything there, and then the creative and the artistry side. I think that's a really good combination, and that's really, I guess, how Abby got involved, because I've got the tech skills and Abby's the artist, so it just made sense to just come together and just create something awesome. That's what we've done.
And Abby, how did you get into the NFTs? Was it Paul just saying this is what an NFT is? How did you guys connect?
Well, Paul is my brother-in-law, so we know each other anyway, which is really great when you've got that trust there, when you know somebody in real life. So that really helps. And well, for me, I didn't even do art at school. I didn't think I could draw. I was one of those people, and then I sort of I got into it a little bit later in life. Entered some competitions for children's storybooks, taught myself Photoshop. I had a small business that I ran. I didn't make very much from that, but it was just something on the side where I was selling some watercolours. Just sort of built up my skills just as a hobby and something that I loved. And one day Paul just said to me, "Hey, look at this, it's an NFT." And I looked it up, and like everybody, I thought, I have no idea what this is. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Buying JPEGs for thousands of dollars. Crazy, yeah. Right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it took me a while to get my head around it, but I don't think you can truly understand it until you've taken a bit of time and gotten to know the space and actually explored it yourself, because really, it isn't just an image. It's so much more than that. It's community, it's opportunity on so many different levels. So for me, I'm not an artist, or haven't been an artist professionally. I was an English teacher in a high school several different high schools for 10 years. I've lived in Berlin, I've lived in South Africa, I've kind of had a bit of life experience, and a lot of my inspiration comes from Berlin, actually, because the artwork there is amazing. The streets are covered in graffiti, but in a really cool, edgy way, and you can get tours of it, and that's what we wanted to go for, that sort of eclectic, cool look. So yeah, that's how I got into this, through Paul, basically.
So cool. And so, Paul, I guess it's you who has this idea for this project, and how does that manifest? I know it was 2 months before you were working on it, before it actually launched. Take us through the origins of this project in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of what it is now, the Top Dog Beach Club, just grown organically through me and Abby, just drawing and just working through it, and just looking what worked right, what didn't work right, what looked like okay, and I guess just working through it. It started with, I guess, the apes, which a lot of these projects were started with today at the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And knowing we wanted to create something similar, but build on it and take it the extra step. I think once I approached Abby and we started working together, it was a lot of different ideas. We had cats, we had aliens, we had these weird blob creatures, I think they were blob fishes or something. I don't know. And then,
Oh yeah,
yeah, blobfish. And then Abby just drew on the dogs one day, and we just looked at it. It's like, yes, that is it. That's what's everyone's gonna like fall in love with the dogs, form a bit of an emotional bond or connection with the dogs.
It's the expression on their faces, isn't it? The aliens, no matter what we tried, they look kind of cool, but you couldn't really relate to them. Their eyes, there's something, obviously, that they're not human, and they're not anything that we're used to. So this particular kind of dog, where it's got a squishy face, we originally based it on pugs, but it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. We've added the French ears, some of them look like bulldogs, but that kind of squishy face pug.
This guy.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't love
that guy,
right? Like that, right? So much expression in there.
I mean, even from the art itself, if you look at all the avatar projects out there now, they 95+% of them face left or face right. But we made a conscious decision that they're like going to face forward, and they're going to look at you. And like, if you were taking a selfie and setting it as your profile picture, it's going to be sort of, I guess, face on, right? Because you want to look at your audience and form that connection with them and their relationship with them. So even from that, it's just different from everything else.
And that does present some challenges artistically, because things can look kind of flat. You want to get that angle usually, because then you get to see a bit of the side. It gives it a little bit of volume. But we just had to make sure that it didn't look flat by making sure that we were very careful with the shadows and the highlights, and we really brought it to life.
So, Abby, how did you actually go about creating these? Was it through Photoshop? Was it through some other program?
No, Photoshop all the way. It's the only thing I know, actually. I tried Blender one time, and that did not go well. I couldn't even change the colour of something. Nearly threw the laptop out the window. Photoshop. Just doing some. We've actually got some sketches, original sketches. We're thinking of maybe showing people eventually of how it sort of transformed into what it is now. But it was just constantly sketching, just rough sketches on Photoshop, changing the colours, adding a couple of rough accessories just to see what it would look like. And when we actually made the final ones, they were on Photoshop, just in different layers, and Paul had to work the magic about how we were to put those layers together, and I can assure you it's a lot harder than it sounds. There's so many things to consider.
Paul, break that down. What does that mean exactly?
I mean, I guess it's just a piece of code. Like, we'd write some code, and we have all the images separately. So, like this dog, for example, the ears are separate, the face is separate, the eyes are separate, the mouth, the nose, everything is in sort of separate files, separate layers. And then we essentially write code to sort of choose a random face, choose a random nose, whatever. And then I guess it's like a special algorithm based on randomness, and we have the three different types of rarities, so like legendary, epic, common, and it just essentially picks random images and just joins them together in code. Again, it sounds a lot easier than it was, because there's a lot of things that didn't work together. Like we have this space helmet, which didn't really work if you had certain ears or if you had a pickle in your mouth or something. So a lot of edge cases to test for. Yeah.
We were generating hundreds a day, weren't we? We'd do them 50 or 100 at a time, just generate. Every time we add something else, generate. Then I say, oh, look, that overlaps that isn't right, and we'll kind of add it to the list. And yeah, it took a lot of refining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear that a lot of work went into it. For someone who's listening right now who may not have, who knows what an NFT is maybe, but they've never bought one or considered buying one, what would the pitch be from your perspective to that person to check it out?
That's a great question. We actually have had a lot of people come in the Discord, just in the community, and say, this is my first NFT, or even saying, I've brought one for my daughter or my son or my wife or my husband, which is really, really cool to see. And a lot of those people that have brought their first NFTs because they fell in love with the art. And that's what I think an NFT is, first and foremost. There's a lot of projects out there where people are just flipping them for an investment, which is absolutely fine. And we want that as well. It's healthy in a project. But I think the art itself and the fact that you now own that piece of art, so you can do whatever you want with it. And we've had people create stickers, we've had people do paintings of them, and all sorts of really cool stuff. But I mean, Abby touched upon it at the beginning as well. It's more than just the NFT and more than just the art. You know, that's just, I guess, that's the entry. That's why you want to get involved. But it's this whole community and this whole club membership that we're trying to build around that, and that's all about adding value and utility to everybody involved. So, for example, we're having real world beach parties. We're going to try and get the whole community together and just have a really good time. That everyone's had a really shit time recently in the pandemic, so let's get everyone together and have a few drinks and just talk about art, NFTs, whatever. And I think we're the first. I'm pretty sure we're the first NFT avatar project to give away free merchandise. So if you're a club member, you can get a free Top Dog T-shirt, which is really cool. We're doing lots of other stuff like donating to charities. We put an announcement out just before this podcast. We're now trying to get the community to make some real world change. So we've got members across 5 continents, 52 countries, and we're now trying to get them to volunteer their time to help dog shelters and dog charities and actually go outside into the real world and make a real change. And I think that's quite powerful. Don't know if you want to add to that, Abby.
We've all gone for the light pink Top Dog Beach Club T-shirts. We've ordered them. We'd like to go out in London and actually do some volunteering and kind of start that off. So we're going to be looking awesome all in our pink T-shirts in London. We've got this roadmap which we laid out from the very start. We obviously sold out very quickly, so 100% isn't going to happen overnight, but we're pretty close to all of it now, apart from the beach parties, aren't we? The thing is that it doesn't stop there. There's never an end to it. The buying an NFT, if it's a good project, is your ticket to something awesome and something that's just going to continue and grow. So we've already done things outside of the roadmap. We're constantly thinking about how do we innovate? How do we come up with something new? How do we not just copy what other projects are doing to try and keep up? How do we think, right, what is the next step after this? How do we do better? We want to be pioneers in this, not just people who are copying.
I think this is a thing that creators face, entrepreneurs face, is this idea of like, you want to take inspiration from other people, but you also want to make your own thing. How do you guys think about balancing that, and how have you managed to balance that over the last 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you've got your community who are invested in your project, and they're invested in other projects as well, and they're a part of other communities. Absolutely fine. That's what the whole space is about. But they're seeing what other teams are doing, and they're saying, "Oh, you should be doing this. You should be doing this." We've had numerous people come in and say, you need to do another airdrop, which is creating another piece of art and creating another NFT and dropping it to everybody for free, because that's what a lot of other projects are doing. We're like, no, it's on the roadmap, but it's a future project down the line. We're not doing it now. We're not going to rush it out because that's what everyone else is doing. We're here for the long term, and we're here to build long-term value. Yes, it can be quite difficult listening to everybody in the community, and everyone has a different opinion, and it's really hard to please everybody. But we've got a vision. We know where we want to go. We know where we're going, and we fully believe in the project, and that it's going to be a long-term thing for years and years to come.
With regards to the airdrops, it's an awesome idea, and we'd love to do that. Absolutely. Yeah. Some people have done it and pulled it off, and it's been amazing. So Bored Ape Yacht Club, they've dropped the dogs. The Gutter Cats have dropped some rats. But the circumstances have to be right. If we go ahead and just drop some more NFTs and we're not at the perfect moment to do that, it's just going to devalue what people already have. Yeah. We might make some more money off that if people start trading those, and we get whatever percentage. But that's not what we're about. We need to make sure that the people who have invested in this project get what they need out of it as well. So again, we've got these airdrops in mind, but we're always thinking, is there another way of doing this? Is there a more innovative way of doing this? And we do have something really cool in mind, which we're not announcing quite yet, but we're working on something.
Well, that's a little bit of a teaser, and that's very cool. And I think one way that you guys have proven that you're not necessarily in it for a quick cash grab is originally it was supposed to be 10,000 minted, and now it's 8,000. It was 8,000 when you actually did. And so I said that, and I said, wow, like they could have easily made it a 10,000 minted project, but instead it's 8,000 pieces available. And so was that a way for you guys in the beginning to say, we're really here for the long term? Was it something else?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were like exactly what I just said. A lot of people in the community had a lot of different ideas, and the majority were saying 10,000 is too much, because you said at the beginning we started this project 2 months before we launched, and at the time 10,000 was the normal. That's what everyone pretty much expected. But as we was building and building behind the scenes, that sort of shifted that mindset, and everyone thought 10,000 is just too much. We want to keep the supply low. So we sort of took a community vote, and a lot of people had different opinions, but the majority vote was, I think it was reduced to 8,000, but increased the price. And we sort of discussed internally, and we said, we don't really want to increase the price. We don't think that's fair. So what we did was, reduced to 10,000 to 8,000 and then keep the original price. And there's no incentive for us to do that at all. Like, we lost, people could do the maths, we lost $250,000 by doing that. So, there's no incentive for us to do that. But it's what the community wanted, so I chose to do it.
And how do you guys think about the near-term future? I know that Gary Vaynerchuk is someone I follow pretty closely, and he's had his finger on the pulse with NFTs and in the internet in general over the past 15 years. And he was talking about how the supply is going to increase dramatically of NFT projects. Is that something that worries you guys? Is that something you think about? How do you think about navigating that in the future?
Yeah, I saw that tweet, and I completely agree with him. Like, I love data, and I'm looking at data every single day. I'm a massive nerd. And if you look at the number of active wallets now, it's about 15,000 wallets in the NFT space.
Wild.
It's probably about, a lot of people have different wallets, so it's probably like 9,000 people. Which you think about the planet, nearly 8 billion people on the planet. 9,000 is nothing, absolutely nothing. I completely agree that I think the space is a bit saturated at the minute. I think we're going to see over the next month or two some projects that are launching really, really struggle unless they have something different and set themselves apart. But yeah, as I already spoken about, people are coming into the space every single day, even in our project and other projects, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And soon we'll see 100,000 active wallets in the NFT space, which is, it's going to be awesome. Like, it's just the beginning.
I mean, we spoke to somebody the other day, didn't we, who had a really interesting perspective. He is a builder for the metaverse, and he said he just wants to teach other people to build. He just wants to encourage this, and he can't be the one doing all the building. He just wants to spread it so everybody is interested in it. And he's not building for himself, he's building for his children and the next generation. Because what we're all doing now with NFTs, with the metaverse, with lots of different technologies, VR, AR, it's in its infancy. And if we build it right, and if we invest properly in it, then it's the next generation who are going to really reap the benefits of it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's wild to think that there's only 15,000 wallets or 10,000 people who are in it, because when you're in it, it seems so big, and it seems like this is so obvious the way the world is going to go. And what's the potential for it, right? And like, when will you hit those markers of like 100,000 wallets, 1 million wallets? Will it be next year? Will it be in 5 years, in 10 years? Do you guys have any predictions with your finger on the pulse of when we'll see sort of mass adoption of NFT technology? Do you have any idea or thought process behind that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, because if this NFT is blocked, it's backed up by Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency, and it's sort of pegged to what Bitcoin does, like the price fluctuations. And that's, I think, what's going to put a lot of people off, is that volatility and the risk of the price of Ethereum. Because if you buy an NFT for 1 next day F goes down in half, you've lost half your investment. I think it'll pull a lot of people off. I think once F breaks out from Bitcoin, which I think is going to be soon, especially with 2.0 coming up and proof of stake, I think it's definitely going to help. But we're also seeing a lot of like celebrities get on board who have been outside of the NFT space, like Snoop Dogg, Ja Rule, all big names who are creating their own NFT collections, and that's going to appeal to their audiences and get those people in, and we're already seeing that. And I think there's going to be a point where it's sort of this crescendo of just, it's just going to explode almost overnight, which is what we saw back in March this year. The whole space just exploded. It'll have its peaks and troughs, I think, but by the end of the year, I think not 100,000, but I think we'll see at least double, maybe triple the amount of people in. I hope we do.
I mean, in the real world, I'm seeing things changing already. So in my workplace, somebody left because they did really well with Bitcoin. I don't know exactly what they did, but they were able to stop working. So people in that workplace, in that office, would have seen that. And then I left because this NFT thing, nobody knows what it is. It's just something to do with NFTs and dogs. She's done really well, so she's leaving. So that's 2 people in one office. People are going to catch on pretty soon that there's something happening here.
So take me through that conversation. Sorry to cut you off, Paul. I just want to know what it was like when you told someone, hey, I'm leaving to go do my own thing with NFTs and dogs. What were the reactions like for the people around you?
Oh, it's really hard to explain, because I told them I was working on a project, and everybody probably respected me for it or something, but in my own mind, I felt like the crazy cat lady of the office, going around like, I'm gonna make some dogs.
Pictures of dogs.
Yeah, we're gonna sell the NFTs. Look them up. Yep, it's gonna be the new thing. Everybody, they're like, yeah. That's probably not the reality, but in my mind, that's what it was like. Just kind of making fun of myself, really. And then I told them that I was launching, I had to have a few days off. And they were kind of saying, oh, well, maybe you won't need to come back. Ha ha ha. And I was like, yeah, sure. Ha ha. That will never happen. And then I meet my boss and I go, so we did quite well. I basically made my annual salary last night. And I've got a lot of work to do, and it just makes sense to me to focus on this. This awesome thing happened. I mean, it's so hard to explain because it's not even like winning the lottery, right? It's a bit like winning the lottery, but on the other hand, if you won the lottery, you could just carry on working, right? You don't need to do anything. I felt a bit guilty for having to leave, but I think people did understand that the work I'm needed to do this work. You know, it makes sense for me to put everything I have into this. And I think they did understand. I actually hadn't been there that long. It was a new job, and I loved it. Because like I said, I was a teacher for 10 years, and I moved over to UX and sort of digital transformation, and that for me was just an amazing move. I'm really, really glad that I did that. But then I was only there for a few months and I had to leave for something else. It's very strange.
Paul, what about you? Have the reactions been as crazy, or people knew that you were into the whole technology scene before, so it's somewhat expected?
I'm slightly different. So I quit my job in January this year to start like a side business, to start my own business. My background is cybersecurity. So I had my own cybersecurity startup, and I was just working on that. And then NFTs were sort of on the periphery, and I was dabbing in buying them and maybe creating some back in January, February. And then, I think I created a project. It's called My Pixel Planet. There was like these generatively made planets, like pixelated planets.
They were really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm underselling them, but they were quite cool. And I made those, and then sort of got quite successful. I've sold quite a lot of them, and I thought, okay, I'm making, I guess, money here, and this is paying the bills. My sort of cybersecurity startup isn't paying the bills yet, so I just sort of put more focus on NFTs, and that's just rolled from there really. So I guess I didn't have to quit a job per se. I already was working on my own venture, but
the whole thing's just surreal, isn't it? It's completely surreal. I just kind of want to tell the story of what happened when we sold out. It's not a long story. It's just, I think it's unexpected. Sort of, you'd expect us all to kind of be together, cracking the champagne, woo! But actually, everybody was asleep in my house.
Yeah, it was like 2 a.m. in the UK, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then Paul just said, "Oh, we've sold out." Well, I was on a voice call. We were on a voice call, weren't we? The team. Oh, we sold out. Yay, that's great. Shh, everyone's asleep. And then I kind of prodded my husband and said, "We sold out." And, "Oh, that's so great. Well done." And then went back to sleep. And I just kind of sat there like, yes.
Yeah. So with my wife, I ran in the bedroom like, "We sold out." She's like, "Huh?"
It's not quite as glamorous as everyone thinks, but we did get together. Was it last weekend? And the family we ordered some champagne. That was quite nice, wasn't it? So we got a little moment to celebrate there. But there's not much time to celebrate because it's just constant. Even when we're sleeping, there's messages, there's questions, there's work to be done. So we're taking the time that we can, but it's not very much right now. Yeah,
the work is crazy. Honestly, I'm doing like 14-hour plus days. It's so much hard work. It looks like I was a collector before starting this project, and from the outside, it looks easy. It's not easy. It is not easy. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about. It's like once you have a bit of success, people think it's easy, smooth sailing, but the thing is, when you have success, sometimes it actually becomes harder because there's more things vying for your attention. So Take me through how you guys have managed to continue working at a high level while also have all these incoming messages, whether it be from Discord, Twitter. I'm sure people texting you left and right. Can you do this for me? Can you do that? And it's like, how have you managed to deal with that?
I think we're still learning. It's still quite hard. Like we try. When you read the announcement at the beginning of the podcast, we've got a few hundred members in the Discord. It was quite easy to keep up with everything. Now we've got almost 3,000. Like we try our hardest to read every single message, but it's just getting impossible. We can't. So what we've done is expand the team. So it was just me and Abby at first, and then we've brought Terry on, who is Abby's in real life friend. She's sort of moderating and doing the Instagram and social media, and then we've brought two of my real life friends on board who are software developers and helping out with project management and marketing and that kind of thing. So like we're essentially a business. Like we have employees now, and they've helped take the load off. But I think me and Abby are still trying to work out how to navigate. Okay, stay away from Discord, stay away from socials, focus on what we need to do. It can be quite hard.
I think right now it is a bit of a startup vibe, isn't it? So we're just doing everything that we can. Everybody's just pitching in all of the time, but I don't think it is sustainable. We do need to formalise things a little bit more and maybe have time where we actually get time off, or where we clock off, so to speak. But we're just so passionate about it right now, and we just, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to step away at the minute. I'm sure we'll figure it out soon, and yeah.
You guys mentioned that you're doing so much, and I'm curious, what are some of the primary responsibilities or things you're focusing on right now that are taking up so much of the time?
There's so many like you wouldn't even think about. Like there's accounting, you sort taxes out, and accountants to look after all the transactions. And because it's crypto, it's just 10 times more complicated. And then there's legal stuff. Like we started employing people technically, and we used to work out the legalities of that, and HR, and just all the boring stuff nobody ever wants to deal with. But it takes up a hell of a lot of time. Like we had numerous meetings with numerous accountants over days and days and days until we found the right one. It's just, that's a lot of time. It can be quite stressful. But now we're focusing on making sure we deliver that initial roadmap and just constantly add value and think out of the box and just innovate. And that's why we've brought Pete and Jakoban, who are devs, to help deliver that as quickly as possible.
I feel like I spend a lot of my time having conversations with people, either in a podcast or speaking to Paul, speaking to the team, speaking to people who are doing merch for us, or who there's an opportunity to do a collaboration, or there's so many different people that we're speaking to. I sit down and I say, right, there's this thing that I need to make today, this piece of art. I'm working on a piece of art today. There's 2 things I needed to do. And I thought, I've got all day to do that. That's going to be absolutely achievable. But first, today, I needed to go out and get some prints, because we're kind of testing what some prints are going to look like. And that takes a while to actually get that sorted. Came back, had lots of conversations with multiple people, done a piece and a half, haven't quite finished that second piece, even though I've been working really, really hard and basically haven't had a break all day. So for me, most of the time, it's a little bit frustrating, because Paul he's the dev, and he just creates stuff. He just makes stuff happen, and there's an announcement, it goes out on Twitter, look what I've done, look what I've made, look what progress I'm making, and that's awesome. And for me, at the minute, that's slowed down a little bit for me, because my big thing was all of the art, and there was a point where it was absolutely tireless, the amount of things that I was producing in a day. But that's picking up again now, isn't it, with some of the other things that are going on. We're actually producing some more artwork. And so what you can see and what is actually delivered on your end isn't always what's going on behind the scenes. There's a lot to do.
Yeah, I'm curious, Paul, you mentioned the taxes aspect of it. I'm curious how you think about how much to keep in ETH versus how much to take out of the business. I'm so curious from your perspective, because I'm sure there's a lot of thought that goes into it. And how do you think about navigating that?
No, I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm an ETH maxi. Like, I fully believe that ETH will take over Bitcoin a year, 2 years from now. Who knows? I guess personally for me, I'm okay financially. Like, we can pay the bills. Me and my wife are okay. So I'm keeping as much as I can in ETH, because I fully believe in the whole network, I guess. And Abby, you're slightly different because you're new to the space.
Yeah, I'm scared it's all just going to disappear tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a risky asset, right? It's a risky asset. So.
Other people have different opinions though. So Paul is quite confident that it's going to double in value in the next few months, and other people have said that this 2.0 version is a non-event. As someone very smart described it that way the other day. So wherever you look, you get contrasting opinions all around. So it's hard to know what to think or what to do. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Paul, because I've got a feeling this is going to be a winner for him, because he knows what he's talking about. But everybody needs to make their own decision with what they do with their currency.
Abby, when was the first time you had a piece of Bitcoin or a piece of Ethereum? Was it this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started a project after Paul told me about it. I just tried to give it a go, just minting some random things like a stag and a rabbit and a snake, just some animals. And then I started a project called what's it called, Paul? Retro Arcades.
Can't
like
even
a
remember.
lifetime ago. No. Retro Arcades, so very, very kind of simple NFTs, but kind of lots of bright colours, and there's a few of those. So I actually got payment for those because a few of them did sell. Not as much as Paul's Planets, but it was just nice to kind of get started with that. So most of my ETH that I have is just I had before this, but just from the little bits that are coming in from the arcades, and I had like $200 worth in there, and I was like, oh, look at this! I can't believe I managed to accumulate this. I'm so proud of myself.
Magical internet money. Where did this come from?
Right?
I just find it so fascinating because in this space you have people who have been in it since 2013. You have people who are been trading or been thinking about it since 2016. You have people today, and do you guys find that there's a bit of like brashness or ego in those that have been in it earlier? But the thing is, it's like everyone's learning at their own pace, and there's so many people maybe in your real life who haven't even heard of Bitcoin or Ethereum, or maybe just think it's crazy. So how do you guys go about telling them or educating in a way that can bring on new people to the ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, we've taken advice from people who've been in the crypto world for like 2014, 2015, and they've been through the bull runs and the bear markets and ups and downs and everything that comes with that, which puts you off a little bit because we've sort of been in a mini bear market. I think we're in a slightly bull last couple of weeks, but who knows what's going to happen next week. But yeah, I mean, it can be absolutely horrible. And I personally, I don't like to tell anybody about the crypto world. Like, I tell them what I'm doing, but I won't give any advice. I'm very careful not to do that. Like, Abby asked me for advice what to do with the Ethereum she got from this project. I'm like, I don't really want to give you any advice. This is what I'm doing. Do your own research, because if I'm wrong, then you're going to blame me and you're going to come and kill me. Probably.
I know where you live, Paul.
Yeah. So I'm very careful to tell people in real life, and I keep that, I guess, to myself. Like, my wife she knows about crypto. She knows what we've done. Obviously, she knows about crypto. She didn't really get it, which is fine. Not a lot of people do, but she, I guess, fully trusts me and my own research, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm curious from both of you guys' perspective, what the biggest challenge has been, the biggest unexpected challenge, where you've said to yourself, how is this going on? How do we overcome this? Anything in particular stand out for both of you?
I mean, for me, there's two things. The first challenge is actually selling out and this actually happening and dealing with that and trying to process it, because it's a crazy idea and we will absolutely put everything into it, but the chances of it as actually being a success in the space are quite low. It's just how it is for everybody. So just kind of letting that process, that's been quite difficult. I'm not that I'm asking for sympathy, it's amazing. The other thing is that I don't know if this is unexpected, particularly from Paul, because he knows a lot more about it than me, but it's the keeping the momentum going and that natural thing that seems to happen with every project once everybody apes in, and then some people sell because they want to make that profit. Why do people want to keep hold of your NFT? What incentive do they have? What are they waiting for? And it's actually a really exciting challenge. Trying to innovate, trying to come up with that new thing that nobody's done before and giving people a reason to stay with us. And I really believe that is what we are doing.
Yeah, just from my perspective, the fact that you have been so open about going on podcasts, the fact that you want to make connections, the fact that you're talking about this as a long-term project, instantly made me think, okay, this is something I want to be a part of. This is something I want to hold, not just buy really quickly and get on to the next thing. So that's from my perspective as a user. But
yeah, that's what we've tried to, I guess, put out there. Like even down to the art, like we touched upon it earlier. If you look at the dogs, some of them have got so much personality. Like, I showed you this guy earlier. This is one of my dogs. I just love this guy. I'm never going to get rid of him ever. Like, he's just got so much swag. Like, you can just imagine him walking down the beach, pina colada in his hand, just chilling out. I love him so much. Like, I commissioned a painting for him as well. It's
Wow.
awesome. And that's what we were trying to get across. Like, it's something you want to hold, not just for the art, but because of all the value adds that we're going to be adding. Like, there's so much stuff we've not announced. We can't quite announce yet, but we've just got so many ideas to just take it to the next level. Even what we've done now with the beach parties and the free merch, like no one else has ever done that. But we're giving away the underlining Photoshop files for your art, so you can, you know, if your dog has got like a VR headset, which I think one of yours has, or I'm trying to find an example here. I don't think I have one to hand.
How many
Like
you
this
got
guy.
there?
So yeah, look, so this guy, right? So if you've got if you own this dog, and you've got the Photoshop file, you can take away the mask and look at the nose and the mouth. And the people like been discovering they've got a gold nose under there or something.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Like, nobody's done that before. We've got this concept of a photo booth, which has got like augmented reality, and you can like take the face mask off the dog and superimpose it on you as a live camera view.
So cool.
No other project's done that before. Like, it's just taking it to that next level and just adding the value. And yeah, I think I truly believe like it will get to a point where, because I mean, if you look at the stats of our project now, like if you look at the floor price, if you look at the sales volumes, if you compare that to other projects, you know, it's not great, like, but we're okay. But I think once people's mindset changes of aping in, flipping, getting out, next project, and actually wanting to be part of a community and grow something long term, and that comes with, I think, the community growing organically and new people coming into the space. I think we're going to be at the top. I truly believe that we're going to be at the top in the long term, and that's what we want for the project.
If you were to address the people who currently are holding Top Dog Beach Club, what do you call them? Dogs or mints, or what's the appropriate term there?
Top dogs. They're all top dogs.
Yeah. So if you were to address those people, because I'm sure there's a lot listening or watching right now, what is the information that you would like to get across to those people?
I would like to say thank you to every single one of them. You know, whether you've brought and sold, whether you're holding, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just thank you for being a part of this. It's been amazing. There's certain people that stand out in the community. We've got a guy called Dose, Joff, Dan, a load of the people in the community that just contributed so much. And just thank you to them personally and to everybody involved. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than what we chat every single day about and in our announcements. But yeah, thank you. If Abby, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to say that if you're holding onto your dog, then you carry on holding onto it, because we are working really hard to make sure that you get something awesome out of this. I feel like we're building a whole world for you guys. We're looking into VR. We're looking into bringing to life the dog battles. Each of them have got their characteristics, a bit like a Pokemon or something like that. That we've got packs that we're kind of pitting people in the community against each other in a kind of friendly bit of competition. So it really is about who is going to be top dog at the end of all this. So we've only been... we sold out, was it 2 weeks ago or something?
No, not even that. I think it was 10 days ago.
Okay, so
11
yeah,
now.
We launched a couple of weeks ago, and just look at what we've managed to achieve with firstly just 2 people, and then some other people added after that. Just think about where it will go in the future from here. So I'm excited about what's to come, and I'm excited to share that with everybody. So hold those dogs.
Hold those dogs.
I'm excited to see how this journey unfolds. And I would also like to ask you guys, what do you think makes a good community? If someone was thinking about a community manager position for an NFT project or for a crypto project, what makes a good community and what makes a good community manager?
I think number one, openness, transparency, honesty, and just be present. Like, don't just go in and send an announcement and then go back out and, you know, come back in 2 days and send another announcement. Actually get involved in the community, talk to the people, build those relationships. I think that's really, really important. And that's what we've been doing. Like we all of us, all of the team, make a conscious effort to be in that Discord server every single day, talking to people. And me and Abby this is our full-time jobs, so it allows us to do that. But, you know, Pete, Jakob, and Terry, they've got other 9-to-5 jobs, but even then, they're still sort of being active as much as they possibly can. I think that really helps to build trust within the team and the community as a whole. And just being as open as you possibly can about where it's going and the vision, and us being non-anonymous, which is quite unusual for an NFT project, well, an NFT avatar project, and showing our faces and talking to you is really unusual, but it's allowed us to, I guess, speak to, you know, the top dogs directly and build that accountability and that credibility. And I guess, you know, we're not going to rug pull like other projects have, because, you know, our faces, and you could probably find out where we live. Yeah, I mean, it's just, trust as well. I think it's a big one.
And where do you foresee, if you're talking right now in 2025, where do you foresee the project being when we play this clip in 4 years?
Abby, I'll let you say that.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? We don't know where this could go, and that's what I love about it. Every day we're coming up with new ideas, so we couldn't possibly say. And the digital world changes every day. So our vision of where we're going to be in 5 years, we can't even imagine what the possibilities will be. So right now we're just trying to innovate. We're looking at AR, we're looking at VR, we're trying to get a presence in the metaverse. We're trying to think about how these dogs could act as a token into certain things like beach parties. But there's so much more to come. In 2 weeks, I think we'll be at a place we didn't imagine right now. So I think we'll be in a really strong position in a few years, because we're not going to stop working on this. We do have an amazing community who have given so much of this project already and are supporting us. And some people are giving away, or were right from the start, giving away their dogs in competitions just to try and help out. You know, some people are in a position to be able to do that, but they don't have to. You know, there's some of the pieces of artwork that people have created, custom pieces of artwork, and the time that they spend in the server sharing their ideas. And we've put meetings on, haven't we, with the community where they can give us their ideas, and we're kind of sharing what we're working on. So the time and the effort and for the money for some people that they put into this, we couldn't be more grateful. So I think we're in a really strong position. We'll be in an even stronger position in 5 years.
Well,
Go
Sorry,
for it, I was just going to add I guess it's still short term in relative to 5 years, but my short term vision is that it turns into a DAO, and the Top Dog Beach Club is essentially run by the community. Like, every decision that is made by the community, voted upon by the community, and it's fully decentralized. I think that's where we want to get to, maybe at the end of this year. And in 5 years, like, who knows, right? Maybe we'll have full mech suits of the dogs just running around. That'll be awesome, right? Or bring the dogs to life somehow. I don't know.
It's so interesting, because in the past, cities were formed and governing bodies were created based on physical location and geography. But now it seems like cities and groups are being created online based on ideas and artwork, and communities are being formed that way. Do you foresee a massive shift going on, where I know Balaji Srinivasan has talked about the potential for nations to come about via online crypto worlds? How do you think this NFT project plays into that massive vision? And is that even possible from your perspective?
I think it's definitely, I'll answer the last bit. I think it's definitely possible. Whether current government, states, legislation, lawmakers, politicians will allow it to happen, I don't know. Like we've faced so much legislation and regulation already in the crypto world, which is a good thing. We need that. But there becomes a point where, you know, countries, China have banned Bitcoin entirely. It becomes a point where, yeah, if a state nation closes it down, then it forces it underground, and then you have a lot of, I guess, citizens doing illegal acts, which is not what you want either. I mean, yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Right? There might be a massive global sort of outrage and protests because crypto or whatever is being banned everywhere. Yeah, Abby, I don't know if you want to add anything.
I mean, for me, it just looks like the way that it's going. I think not that long ago, people were really close with their neighbours and had lots of community activities. And I know a lot of places are still like that, but the trend is now for us to not even look our neighbours in the eye anymore. And I think that it's a negative thing in a lot of ways. But I think it's just proof that people aren't just connecting with people because they're in close proximity anymore. People are connecting with people that share similar ideas or similar interests, and that they truly get along with, and they're able to do that in online. So that is definitely the way that it's going. How long it's going to take to break through all of those physical barriers to get enough people on board and to, like Paul said, to get the world to accept the change and work with it. I think a lot of people have a lot to lose from this, the traditional ways of working. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a smooth change for everybody, but I'd like to have a little glimpse into the future 200 years down the line and see what it's like.
Yeah, well, I think Top Dog Beach Club is a little glimpse into the future, and you guys are certainly helped creating it, and I'm grateful for that because it is an awesome project, and I'm a proud owner of a Top Dog, multiple Top Dogs. So thank you for creating this community, and I'm really appreciative for you guys to have come on this podcast. Any final pieces of parting wisdom for the people?
Yeah, I mean, you've got your top dogs now. You need to give them names, Danny. You have to think carefully about their names and backstories.
I've got one named Thor, and about the naming piece is how much does it cost to name my top dog?
So at the minute we're in what we're calling a creative grace period. So it's free, so you can name it, give it a backstory for free. There's a 12-hour cooldown, so make sure you're happy with it beforehand. But what we're doing in the next couple of days is launching a token, like an ERC20 token. So it's just like WF or any other sort of token you can trade freely. It's a currency, basically. We're launching that called Snacks, and then going forward, after we've launched that, it will cost Snacks to rename your dog, because we want the Snacks token to be utility, but we also want people to sort of think about their names and backstories a little bit more, like really put some effort into them, which a lot of people have been doing already, which is really good to see. But that's why we added, I guess, the token to that, and we're going to be building on the token as well. We're looking at so many different things, like using the token in the real world to get real world discounts against things. So on my list to do is looking at, when we have the beach parties, is maybe spending your Snacks tokens on air miles or a hotel. I'm trying to just figure that out and see if that works. Really cool. Very
cool. Where can people find more from this project and get involved with the Top Dog Beach Club?
We've got our website, topdogbeachclub.com. We're also on Twitter at topdogbeachclub. We're on Instagram. And you can find our Discord link through any of our website or through social media. So come and check us out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a part of 100 Discords. I don't really want to say join the Discord because it's so annoying. But honestly, join the Discord. Like, we're so friendly. We're always there. We're always active. Just come and just talk to us, and yeah, just chill out.
We'll link those down below. Thank you guys for the time. Thank you for creating this again, and really appreciate you tremendously.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.